And we are back on the build phase. I am Mr. Ben, and I let me okay, here's where I'm going to start. On our last episode, I was sad about obvious things, but like I was excited. Talking about Buckeye League and the draft, and I did the Buckeye League draft, and I got the teams I wanted. I got basically everything I wanted. I was really excited about it. And I went, okay, when I have a minute to focus, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get all the cards for both these teams out on my table. I'm so looking forward to building some stuff with this. And this was like weeks ago, man. And today I got a message from one of the opponents in my pool saying, like, hey, uh, we need to get our game scheduled. And I realized I haven't built anything. I haven't come back to verses in this time. And And that really just bums me out in a way that I have a hard time putting words to. But as I wrestled with kind of feeling frustrated with like, man, how did I lose track of the time like this? It's not that I necessarily lost track of the time. It's that my kids are in athletics 6 out of 7 days a week, and on the seventh day when they don't have stuff, I coach youth boxing now. It's that things are just different. The unmitigated passion and energy I had. So that interruption was the cat coming in here, the cat that we didn't have when I started the show, and interrupt. I'm even gonna leave that in because this is what I'm talking about. The unmitigated passion and energy and time that I had to do the show the way I wanted to do the show. It's it's just not available in the same way that it was, and I mean, I have to take responsibility for that. Like at the end of the day, I have the same 24 hours that I have ever had. Uh, but I've been doing this for, I mean, close to a decade. Was it 8 years? Are we in our ninth year now? Ninth year, yeah. And I just, I don't remember where I read it as a kid, but there was, it's probably like E. E. Cummings or something. So this quote that it's like, great works are never finished, they're just abandoned. Now, let me take a step back. What I have created here over these episodes of the Build Phase podcast, I don't know that I can go so far as to call them great works. But I did try greatly. I wanted to make the coolest show, the kind of show that I wanted to listen to. And that has always been the thing that I've tried to do. And the goal of what I was shooting for has changed over the years. I've grown up. I've changed. Dealing with these maniacs that I call my children has taught me a lot of lessons about myself. Um, I've made mistakes on the show. I've said things the wrong way. I've gotten into stupid fights. I've had to, apologize for things. But at every step of the way, I was always passionate about trying to make the best show I could, the coolest show I could. So right before I started recording this, I went into the coolest clubhouse in Versus, the Patreon exclusive Build Face chat, and I let everybody know that the fact that like a whole month went by from when I drafted my teams to thinking about how I needed to build a deck for this event again, I realized my priorities have just changed. And I told them, I was like, guys, you need to cancel your support of the show. It's not fair of me. All these months that have gone by since we got this cancellation, I truly, honestly wanted. And I guess I need to apologize to everybody who reached out to me to talk about their like parting thoughts about verses. I really wanted to do that. I believed it. I thought it sounded like such a cool project. And my genuine worry is that if I do that, if I try to act as a curator for this like a historian, like I really liked, and maybe that's my ego a little bit, but the idea of trying to get the history of verses down onto the show with all of these like important players, from tournament organizers to community figures of all different kinds, like that sounds like exactly the kind of thing I want to listen to. The problem is I don't want to make it, um, because I think it would take what I have left, for verses. This is so stupid. uh, I love this game so much, and I love this community so much. And I don't ever, and I've said all along to the patrons, to my friends, when they've asked, like, how long are you going to keep doing this, dude? Like, it's been a long time. As the various people who used to be my collaborators with the project have come and gone, um, I always said, I'm going to stop doing this podcast when it's no longer fun. And I think that's wrong. I realize today what I want to do is I want to stop before then. I don't want to make that show that's not fun. Uh, and maybe it's stupid for a 44-year-old man to have like this much emotion about a card game, but I do, and I don't care what you or anyone else think about how silly it is for me to be emotional about a card game. Um, you are perfectly within your rights to laugh at me for anything I've said in any of these episodes. Um, because I am not embarrassed at trying hard. I'm not embarrassed by trying to do the best I can to make a cool thing. Like, again, just it was the thing that I thought would be cool. And I feel like I've had more positive to say about verses in these episodes than I've had criticisms, though I am absolutely guilty of maybe at sometimes going a little too far with my criticisms. Uh, but the general message of the show was always like, let's play cards and let's play cards better. Let's get better at let's take the game seriously. And I'm so happy with where things are, and I as cool as I think it would be to kind of have the last word. Um and even that sounds more egotistical than I mean it. But it would be in service of ego. It would be me trying to create something that's like more about I can't put my finger on it. It's just the fire's just not here, guys. It's just not anymore. And that sucks. I feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like but I'm just this is not where my passion is. I am taking my kid to wrestling practice 5 nights a week. On some of those nights, I go and coach other classes, and just my whole family has taken this like turn into. We still play games, but it's not this like central thing that it once was. In particularly with my relationship with my both of my children. I realize it's a little weird to keep bringing it back to that, but my kids were so ingrained into what this project was, um, and the nurturing and the learning that I did alongside of them growing up. Like this is not what I want to be saying. I think it's time to hang it up. That's what I'm saying. I will leave the door slightly ajar that if Upper Deck has more cards for us, more things to say. If I reach a point where I feel like I can come back and make a one-off episode and really be excited about doing it and have fun with it, I will leave the door slightly ajar for that. But I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I'm still going to be making content on the YouTube channel for sure. Uh, my my Dice Throne strategy series is still a thing. I still enjoy playing Star Wars Unlimited. I still really love board games. Like, I have a lot to say about games still, but the idea of keeping up the kind of responsibility I feel to the people who want to listen to a weekly podcast, I have not been upholding that for like a while. And I think it's time to just admit that like this isn't a thing that I'm gonna like go through and get over. This is just the way I feel now. This is the energy level I have. Dude, it's so hard to say goodbye to the game of verses. Oh, it hurts my heart so much. Um, to my patrons, uh, current and former, um, not all of whom I think still like me. uh, Thank you for your support. To everybody in the community, thank you for the kind words over the years about the show. But like more than that, like I want to thank the community for the energy in this game. that made it such a cool place to be for so long, for so many years. We had this like oasis in the game space that just it didn't feel like other places. Like yes, we had, our toxic elements, our now reformed villain, I guess. Should I even say his name? I don't know. It might summon the Dark One back. uh I shouldn't joke about that. I we've been through a lot together as a community, and I have tried to, with honesty, a lot of passion, a lot of love, and a little bit of humor that doesn't always land, try to curate that experience for my fellow travelers. And I have immense gratitude for the people who have joined me on this journey. But I think it's time to turn out the lights. And the last one out, close the door. So, for the last time, I'm Mr. Ben. And you should go win some games.